Hello student, a very good day to you. Today we are continuing with the second episode of this chapter, weavers, iron smelters and factory workers. The second chapter concentrates on the development of the iron and steel industries in India. Some of the major concepts of this lesson are history of hot steel, manufacturing of hot steel, and about the smelters at the time of the colonial rule, decline of steel industries and reasons for it, history of Tata Steel and iron industries in India, and the growing popularity of iron and steel at the time of World War I. The learning outcomes will be that learners will be able to appreciate the steel making industry of India. Learners will acquire knowledge about Indian steel industry, and learners will be able to comprehend the growth of Indian steel industries during World War I. My dear students, in the previous lesson you learnt about the textile industry during the colonial rule. Now in this lesson you will learn about another popular industry which flourished during the colonial rule, that is the iron and steel industry. You will learn about the history of iron and steel industry during the colonial rule and how it progressed during that period. Look at this image. Can you identify the person in this image? Yes, you are absolutely right. He is Tipu Sultan, the most famous ruler of Mysore, who is also called as the Tiger of Mysore. The iron and steel metallurgy of India can be told with the story of Tipu Sultan, who ruled the state of Mysore from 1782 to 1799. He fought 4 wars with the British and he died in one of the battle with the sword in his hand. In this image you will see Tipu Sultan's sword. Can you tell me what metal is used to make this sword? Yes, you are absolutely right. It is made out of steel. Tipu's sword is very special because it is made out of a special steel called Hoods. It mainly consists of crystals carbon and it gives a water flow pattern to the sword. This water flow pattern could rip the armor of any enemies. This quality of the sword came from a special high carbon steel called Hoods, which was manufactured all over South India. Please see this image to have a better understanding of the Hoods steel. Hoods is an anglicized version for Kannada word hokku. In Telugu it is called as hokku and in Tamil and Malayalam it is called as hurukku. European traveller Francis Buchanan, who toured Mysore in 1800, gave a detailed account of the technique of manufacturing Hood steel in the hundreds of smelting furnaces in Mysore. In these furnaces, iron was mixed with charcoal and put in small clay pots. Through controlled temperature, steel ingots were made by the smelters to produce swords not only in India but also in West and Central Asia. Dear student, do you know who Michael Faraday is? Yes, you are right. He was the eminent scientist who discovered electricity and electromagnetism. He also studied the special properties of hot steel for a period of 4 years, that is from 1818 to 1822. Hot steel was produced by smelters till the end of the 19th century. Every district had smelters, especially Bihar and Central India. Local deposits of ore were used by the smelters to produce implements and tools of daily use. The hot steel was produced with the help of furnaces which were made of clay and sun-dried bricks. The smelting of iron was done by men and the women pumped the bellows to keep the charcoal burning. See the image of the bellow that is shown here. This bellows will help to pump air to keep the fire burning. But this sword and armor making industry faced a slow death after the conquest of India by the British. The hot steel making process was completely lost by the mid 19th century. The reason behind this was that when British conquered India, India was forced to import iron and steel from Britain. This displayed the iron and steel industry of India, and many smelters lost their job due to this. Because of these factors, the iron and steel production in India at that period also lowered. By the early 20th century, the artisans producing iron and steel faced another tough competition from the upcoming iron and steel industries in India. Students, can you guess the reasons now as to why the traditional iron and steel producing smelters disappeared from the country? Now students, we will now come to the next concept of this topic, that is Abadan furnaces in the villages. The heart of iron smelting declined during the late 19th century. What may be the reasons? My dear student, in the 4th chapter of your history book, you would have studied about the new forest laws which were implemented by the colonial rule to protect the forest areas. But this affected the iron smelters, who now did not have free access to go to the forest to collect woods for their furnaces to make iron. Even when the permission was given by the government for these smelters to collect wood from the forest, they were taxed very heavily. Iron and steel were imported from Britain during the late 19th century. The lack of access to forest woods made the iron smelters to procure these imported iron and steel from Britain to produce utensils and other implements. This gradually reduced the demand for the production of local iron and steel. Thus, the import of British steel lessened the demand for the iron produced by our smelters. You can see this image here. This picture depicts a village in central India where the Agarias, a community of iron smelters, lived. These iron smelters, who faced hardship due to famines and low demand for their iron, deserted their villages and migrated to other parts of India in search of work. Most of them never worked their furnaces again. My dear student, you have now learned about the superb quality of the hot steel produced in India at the advent of the British rule. You also learn how this flourishing industry declined because of two factors. One was the forest laws brought by the colonial rule, and another due to the import of iron and steel from Britain. There was also another reason as to why the traditional iron and steel industry declined. It was due to the competition that was coming up from the upcoming new iron and steel industries like TISCO. Can you tell me what is TISCO? Yes, you are right. TISCO refers to Tata Iron and Steel Company, which is world famous for its quality steel. Let us now know the story of how this prestigious and world famous steel industry came up in India. Let us start with the story of Jamsetji Tata, the founding father of Tata Industries in India. He was very keen to establish an iron and steel industry in India. He met eminent geologist Charles Perrin Page of USA and requested his help to establish an iron and steel industry in India. Charles Page Perrin agreed, and initially he sent his partner C.M. Well to do the groundwork. Due to the failing health of Jamsetji Tata, his son Darobji Tata accompanied CM Weld in search of areas rich in iron ore resources. They travelled extensively for months. One fine day, they met a group of men carrying a basket load of iron ores. They were Agarias. Who were Agarias? Please recall, students, that in the previous part of this episode, we learned that Agarias were the traditional iron smelters. When CM Weld and Darobji Tata questioned from where they got these iron ore resources, they pointed to one hill called Rajara Hills situated in Chhattisgarh. Darobji Tata and CM Weld explored the area, and CM Weld declared it as the rich and finest source of iron ore in the world. But the problem was it had lack of sufficient water and the area was very dry, which were not suitable conditions for establishing an iron and steel industry. After further years of exploration, one fine day they found that the banks of river Subrana Rekha had rich deposits of iron ore resources. The Agarias had also helped in the discovery of source of iron ore, which was now supplying to the Bhilai steel plant. A large part of the forest area near the Subrana Rekha river was cleared to set up the industrial township called Jamshedpur, and TISCO came into existence in 1912. It started producing steel, which changed the country's landscape of iron and steel industries. As you are already aware, India was importing steel from Great Britain, and British experts did not believe in the quality of steel manufactured in India. TISCO was established at the right time because of the World War I. The World War I led to the decline of import of British steel to the Indian economy. This gave rise to demand for TISCO steel. TISCO supplied steel for manufacturing rails in India and for producing cells and carriage wheels for the war. By 1919, TISCO was supplying 90% of India's steel. Over a period of time, TISCO became the biggest producer of iron and steel in the economy. The Indian industries began to develop because of the following factors. The first one was the World War I, and the second factor was the nationalist movement. During the last decades of the colonial rule, the British government was forced to accede to the demands of the Indian industries to provide protection for them. My dear students, I hope you have understood this lesson, and now we will summarize the whole of this lesson. The high quality Indian hot steel which was used by Tipu Sultan was produced all over South India. When the British conquered India, the imports of iron and steel from England began to displace the iron and steel produced by the craftspeople in India. The upcoming of new iron and steel factories in India gave competitions to the old steel industries. The Tata Iron and Steel Company, TISCO, established by Darobji Tata, began producing steel in 1912. First World War broke out in 1914, which needed Britain's steel, and hence imports of British steel into India declined. TISCO had to produce steel for Indian railways and for shells and carriage wheels for the war. By 1919, TISCO supplied 90% of the steel in British India. Now let us do some activities. Dear students, please write an essay of about 300 words on the history of the establishment of any one iron and steel industry of India. The second activity is that please take a political map of India and mark the following places. First one, Rajara Hill. Second, Bhilai steel plant. Third, Subrana Rekha river. Fourth, Jamshedpur. Fifth, state of Mysore, that is Karnataka. There is also one more activity I would like you to do. I have given you a link to one video here which talks about the hot steel and Tesco. Please go through this video. Dear students, I hope you enjoyed this lesson, and I also hope you will enjoy the activities that are given to you. Take care, be safe.